From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICD Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Eagles Live. And I hope you're feeling good and feeling great. It was a good weekend and everything like that as well, too. So pretty much, man, I say to you, when I say this to you, man, this is one of the craziest years for the NBA Finals in a while. This is probably the most. I wasn't around for it at the time, but this is right before the Lakers, 76ers, and Celtics made their little trilogy, their little trinity for about the next 6 years on who will go to the finals before the Pistons kind of cracked the code. Kind of reminds me of when you look in the history books of the Seattle Supersonics and the Washington Bullets when they played in the finals. NBA was at a real parity type moment. You know, a lot of things were changing in the league. You know, Boston wasn't as good as they were before. They were still kind of rehashing things a little bit. And then the Lakers were, you know, they just had Kareem at the time because they had to trade the whole team to get Kareem. So pretty much this kind of reminds me of that situation in a sense. But, you know, it's going to be fun, though. It's fun to have different teams here, teams that you didn't expect to be here either, because a lot of people didn't have the Suns pegged to be in the finals. But I will say there were a good amount of people that did have the Bucks pegged for the finals, though, for sure. And I think that pretty much with that, the Bucks should be coming in here as the favorite, but they're not, simply because Giannis's health is, you know, not good right now. But the Bucks still won the East, winning by 11 points on Saturday night in Atlanta to go ahead and beat the Hawks, who turned into not the favorite, but you know what I mean. They became the preferred team in a sense. A lot of people want to see the Hawks play the Suns because they want to see the Trae Young, Devin Booker matchup, all that good stuff. But you know what? The Bucks are more than deserve their spot right now. This was 3 years in the making, and they went ahead and they handled their business, and they finally are in the finals. 2 years ago, you thought they were going to be in the finals. You thought they would be in the finals, and it didn't happen. You thought it was going to be them and the Warriors. Then last year, you thought it was going to be the Lakers and the Bucks didn't make it once again. So now you have yourself in a situation where you did make it this year, and you actually did get through what was considered the best team in the East, and that was the Nets. And, you know, the Hawks gave you a little bit of hope by upsetting the 76ers, a team that I think would have been able to beat the Bucks, to be honest with you. But they weren't even able to beat the Hawks. So we can't even sit up in here and imagine exactly what they would have done. So there it is, man. The Bucks have a great performance, and I'm going to let you know right now, a lot of people will not say this. Giannis is a great component for this team, but a lot of times their winning and losing is based on his performances in a clutch situation, and he's not a clutch player. And that's really what holds back the Bucks. This time around, their clutch players were actually able to do what clutch players do. Chris Middleton took it upon himself to be the lead scorer. And then the X factor to everything in this series was Bobby Portis Jr. Bobby Portis Jr. was an absolute monster when he was at Arkansas. But as you guys know, attitudes and things like that can follow you everywhere. And pretty much what happened with Bobby Portis is that his attitude wasn't the greatest when he was coming out of Arkansas. And then he got drafted by two NBA teams that are, you know, pretty much living off their 90s success, and that's the Bulls and the Knicks. And, you know, they didn't know how to figure that thing out with Bobby Portis, but he gets to Milwaukee and he shows his winning spirit and shows how talented he is, and he helps these guys cruise past these two games. And it was an experience. It was a movement, and you got to just give tip your cap to the Bucks, the way that they had such resolve after losing Giannis. They didn't, and it was huge when they lost Giannis too, because a lot of us thought that, okay, now the series can swing to Atlanta, but Atlanta had misfortune themselves as well too. Trae Young, bone bruise in the foot, and usually when you got a bone bruise in the foot, that's a 2 to 3 week rehab minimum. So him coming back in 2 games was really impossible, but he still did it, and he did okay He did okay Saturday night. 14 points, 9 rebounds, 14 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, but just wasn't enough at the end of the day. So pretty much it is what it is. The Bucks are moving on, and they are going to play the Suns. So let's go ahead and preview the NBA Finals real quick. And in the NBA Finals, we got a series price on the Bucks of plus 160. So if you want the Bucks to win the title, you're in the dog section and you're getting plus 160. But I would say this: don't bet anything till you get that final number about 3 hours before the game, because right now it moved up to plus 165. I'm thinking to myself that the way that people are betting Phoenix and the way that everybody's so gung-ho about Phoenix, even Phoenix is gung-ho about themselves. I would say wait until it hits that plus 200, which it will possibly do tomorrow. And also the Bucks are going to be a 5.5 point dog in that game as well too. I think that's a little bit too much love to Phoenix, but it's okay. It is okay. That's how it is, and that's how it's going to be. So this is going to wind up being a fun series. I think that this series is due for 7 games as well too. You don't know who's going to win this series. That's what makes it so remarkable, is that you don't have a real big dog in the pin. So it is what it is at the end of the day. This is going to wind up being a great game, and I think that we can go ahead and say to ourselves that we're walking into a new day, and you got the 2-time MVP Giannis a part of this. Then you got a guy, Devin Booker, who a lot of people want to be, who feel can be an MVP type all-pro player. He's going to be here as well too. The Hall of Famer Chris Paul. It's going to be a really, really good series, man. There's a lot of players. A lot of these guys are exactly the same. Guys that were overlooked, guys that have not won a final before. And, this is going to wind up being one of the better series of all time when you think about it. I know that a lot of people are already trying to write it off, say, I don't think anybody's even going to watch this. But the way that this is shaping up, all of America is going to be watching this series, because they're giving them fresh faces in the finals. You know what I mean? There's fans that don't pull up to the NBA until the finals. And this time around, they're going to get themselves a very good group of players that will be able to represent themselves very well. All right, it's never too early to talk about the NFL. We're in July now, so everybody's in camp now. So we can start our 32 teams in 32 days. And you guys got to understand that it's very early, and I'm doing this so then we don't have to waste 2 hours out the day on NFL Bet Exchange's first episode talking about the over-unders. So pretty much right now, you got an Arizona Cardinals team who last season went 8-8. They were they were a pretty good team, but what happened is that they couldn't win in the end. They, at one point, I think were 8-3, 8-4, and wound up losing their last 4 games in a row. And they lost their games pretty ugly as well, too. So I say to myself, I think that pretty much when it comes down to it, that the Cardinals are going to be a middling team once again, but they're going to be a good team to bet on when they're playing against bad teams. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, like, if they roll in and say it's like a team that's been just losing and losing, Arizona will keep that streak going for them as well, too. And Arizona is due for some big upsets this season, too. And that's on both sides, where they win them and lose them. So you have to be ready for that portion as well. And I think right now the Cardinals have the writing on the wall. If this coach, Cliff Kingsbury, can't get these guys to the playoffs with the team that they have right now, then he's out of here. And the reason why I have him under 8.5 is because I don't believe in this coach. And I think that, once again, he'll have them at 8-8 at best, because he's just not that guy in the NFL. Like, if he would have been an offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, something like that, it'd be fine. But he's the head coach, and he's supposed to be making key decisions, and I don't think he makes very good decisions. So pretty much, hopefully he can keep Kyler Murray upright as well too. That's something that they couldn't do at the end of the year. So we're going to go ahead and see how this one shakes out. But Arizona, I think that they have the talent to go to the playoffs. But at the end of the day, the coach just is the one that's holding them up. And I don't ever like to blame the coach. I always put everything on the players, but I've seen the mismanagement of the Cardinals in key situations the last 2 seasons, and they got to get themselves a guy that's going to be able to handle this thing and handle it accordingly, okay? So with that, you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. You guys go ahead and check out hatclub.com. Hat Club, man, I'm telling you, the drippiest of the drip. You guys can go ahead and get yourself some superior hats there and get yourself some anniversary caps as well, too. So you guys check them on out. That's going to be hatclub.com. You guys can go ahead and get yourself a 10% discount on any hats that are hats, anything that's $50 or better. So once again, 10% off on any orders $50 or better. That's hatclub.com. And with that, we will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
What's up? All right, so we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and the Dodgers is feeling good, feeling great, looking like the champs right now after a big sweep of the Nats over the weekend. The Dodgers actually won all games last week. I like to look at baseball in a week-to-week situation, and the Dodgers killed it last week when it came down to it. The Dodgers got 2 big wins over the Giants to start the week off to gain some momentum with them. And then they also won 4 in a row as well, too. And the Giants actually dropped the first game against Arizona last week. So, the Dodgers have gained ground. They find themselves in position right now to take over first place, but they are setting themselves up for a big-time showdown with this team, with the Giants when it comes down to it. And I'm looking at the standings now. The Dodgers right now are actually tied, have 53-31 to the Giants, 53-30. So if the Dodgers are to win tonight, they'll be able to either be right there in first place, or they'll be tied for first place. But the Dodgers are coming. The Giants had a lot of fun doing what they did, but right now it's a Dodgers world, and I'm telling you, this is going to be pretty big for them. I know that they got the situation going on with Bauer, but at the end of the day, the Dodgers pitching staff is so deep that it doesn't really matter what's going on in that situation. That situation will correct itself over time. But, that's something that we're not going to get into, as I told you guys before, because that's a political part of the game, and that's something that's kind of nasty and dirty to talk about as well too, not like in a little kid way or anything like that, but it's just not a good topic to talk about, you know what I mean? So pretty much Jared Bauer, hopefully everything works out with you, brother, but this is right now it's everybody that's in that locker room is important, you know what I mean? And we knew what we signed up for when we brought in Bauer. He's kind of a quirky guy in a sense, and that there was going to be a little bit of baggage coming with him as well too. And here goes these baggage parts that you talk about. So, but that's what happens when you go after superior talent. That's kind of trouble. You know what I mean? So it is what it is at the end of the day. But all in all, Walker Buehler is solidifying himself as the future of the Dodgers. And I'm talking about being the big ace. Him and Julio Urias look like they're going to be the leaders of that pitching rotation for the next 5 to 10 years. If you can dream like that, but hey, we take it year by year, right? But Walker Buehler is the absolute stud right now. 8-1 on the season, 235. I got to double check to see if he's going to be in an All-Star game this year as well, too, because it seems like they let a lot of these players in that play for kind of middling teams, mediocre teams. A lot of those guys are starting in the World Series. There's a lot of guys I had never heard of as well, too. There's a guy on the Padres named Cronenworth. I had never heard of him until yesterday when they showed his name in the on the list for the All-Stars. So pretty much that's a big thing for the Padres to brag about, that they got 4 All-Stars in the game. But I got to count it up. I think the Dodgers got at least 3 there in the game. So pretty much it should be a lot of fun when we get to the All-Star game. But tonight it's all about that. And hopefully they go ahead and they take care of their business here against the Marlins. Marlins been struggling. Marlins don't have the greatest record either. They were a playoff team last year, but that was a fluke because it was a 60-game season as well, too. And they took almost 3 weeks off with COVID. So, they kind of play from behind, and they kind of were fresher than everybody else at points in the season. So that's what kind of helped them get to where they got to last year. But right now, the Dodgers are so focused on just getting back in the first place and winning games. And this is why they're heavily favored today to go ahead and get another good win against a lowly Marlins team that started off decent, but they have struggled mightily as well, too. And it comes in the hitting category. It's nothing even bad about their pitching. It's about what's going on with the hitters. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. The Dodgers start their series tonight against the Miami Marlins, and we'll go from there. So Walker Buehler, 8-1, 235, going against Trevor Rogers, 7-5, 2.14 ERA. This should be a hell of a game. Let's see how it shakes out. All right, we move on. Let's talk some money. And we got the Cardinals coming in as a plus 170 dog today, and that's kind of rare for a team like the Cardinals, going against the Giants, who are a minus 220. But as time has went over since I put this in, we have St. Louis now plus 185. You got San Francisco minus 225. Reason being why St. Louis isn't highly favored today, because they have probably their worst starting pitcher on the mound. That's going to be Kwa Hung Kim. ERA is decent, but he's 2-5 on the year, 50 strikeouts, over 22 walks. The guy gives up a lot of hits, though. I've seen him in action, and he does give up a lot of runs in moments as well, too. So this guy is kind of it's a big reason why they're dogs like this today. But it's all good. That means absolutely nothing. If you have some hitting show up, it doesn't matter who the pitcher is. As long as you can get some pitching going, as long as you can get some hitting and some runs going, you'll be fine, right? But then you got Kevin Gausman, who's having probably his best season ever in the MLB, and that's thanks to the Giants having such a good defensive team and having probably one of the best catchers in baseball to ever do it. I won't put him in the top 5, but he does get into the top 25, and that's Buster Posey, who can do it who used to be able to do it on both ends, but right now he's just a great defensive catcher, and he's a great pitcher. He's a great catcher for up and coming pitchers or veteran pitchers, because you have to understand the Giants 10 years ago were the toast of the league. They were the elite team of the league. 3 championships in 6 years. A lot of people didn't see that coming, but it came, and they had some damn good pitching staffs as well, too. And this year, they're in more of a rehash mode when it comes to the pitching staff. Come on, you got Johnny Cueto, who was a great pitcher back with the Reds, but right now he's just a good pitcher in the league. Then you got Kevin Gausman, who never had that much of a look, you know what I mean, playing in places like Baltimore. And then he got to Atlanta, and this is before Atlanta got really good. And then also you have Anthony Descalfini, who's been dealing with the Reds, and the Reds having one of the more bottom of the barrel pitching staffs and pitching rotations, and he came to the Giants and he shined because he has a really good catcher and he has a really good defense behind him. And this is what happens to pitchers when they have better assets to deal with. You know what I mean? So pretty much at the end of the day, this is going to be a really good game. I really do like the way it's setting up, and the pressure's on the Giants right now. You don't want to have pressure like the Giants have right now. So I think this game actually will wind up going over today, to keep it honest with you. So let's go ahead and scoreboard watch this bad boy, and we'll go from there. You got the Indians at the Rays, and the Indians coming into this one as a big dog as well, too, plus 170 on the day. And they didn't have the greatest weekend against the Astros either, but you know what? This is a new series. This is a new time. We'll see what they do. The Indians are actually 6 games back from the White Sox right now, which isn't that bad because the White Sox kind of have this tendency to probably let some teams catch up because you've seen them. These guys have been losing games, that they shouldn't be losing. And the Indians are just like what I keep saying about the Dodgers. They're a team of summer. So they're in July now, I think that they're due for a big run where they're going to find themselves right in position to win the AL Central. So it looks like it's going to come down to the Indians and the White Sox, and that's fun. That's fun. Last time it came down to the Indians and White Sox to really try to win on who's going to win the Central, it was one of the best races in all of baseball because both teams had the best records in baseball. But you know what ended that? The 1994 strike. And I remember this stuff vividly because I was watching that race every single day. You had Albert Bell with the Indians, you had Frank Thomas with the White Sox. It was a beautiful time in baseball, and then the strike hit. So pretty much you got the Indians coming in today. They're going to be a big dog. The Rays got themselves a good win yesterday and avoided being swept by the Blue Jays as well, too. So when you look at the matchup here, you got Rich Hill, the vet, going at Logan Allen, a guy who's been struggling all year long. Last time out for Logan, he didn't go too well. Logan, he had 3, but he's not a pitcher that's going to sit in there for 6-7 innings anyway. But he did go 3.2 innings. He gave 3 runs. He gave 2 runs and struck out 3 hits. And so pretty much, he did better than he did in the 2 previous games. But you got to be better in this one as well, too. But expected a lot of pitchers from the Indians today, and Rich Hill will probably go out there for a good 6-7 innings before they pull him out as well, too. And, Rich is really there to be deceptive as well. So we'll see how this one goes. This is one of our better games of the day. So make sure you tune in for it if you do have the capability of tuning in for it. Indians at the Rays. So we'll see how it shakes out. We'll see how it goes, and we'll move forward from there. We have ourselves the Brewers at the Mets today. The Brewers, this is probably going to be the biggest series of the top of the week because you got 2 first-place teams in the Brewers and the Mets. And it's crazy I say that right now that the Mets are a first-place team. Yes, they're 3.5 games ahead of Atlanta right now. And then Milwaukee is literally running away with the Central right now. They're 7 games ahead of Cincinnati and 8.5 above Chicago and 10 above St. Louis. So, and should I add in the Pirates? No, Pirates are 20 games back. They're the last horse to break out the gate, and all they're doing is just walking down the track. That's it. So pretty much, when you look at this series, you got yourself some very good matchups between all the pitchers that are going to be dueling this week. And I think that this one right here is going to be a lot of people are going to be having money riding on this series. Like a lot of money riding on the series. A lot of people are going to be well equipped, but what's happening today is you have a Mets team that's bringing in a third starter who's pretty much fresh, pretty much green. It's his 3rd start of the year. He has he didn't do too well last time out, but he did get 8 strikeouts though. That's pretty good right there. I think that if he gets some run support today, it calms down a little bit. He should be in this game for a little bit longer than 5 innings. So McGill is somebody that should not be slept on at all. But I think that with Brandon Woodruff being such a dominant pitcher this year, 1.87 ERA, 119 strikeouts over 24 walks, 7-3 record, This is going to be a tough one for the Mets, but you know what? They're right here in the thick of things, and I think that they'll be able to, pretty much handle their business in a sense. But it's going to be a tough game today. I think that it's going to be a bit too much for the Mets, and you have this still very green pitcher. I think that's going to work to the Brewers' favor, and I have them winning this game today. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. We move on to our next spot, and that's going to be the Phillies at the Cubbies. And the Phillies coming into this game, kind of, I won't say reeling or anything like that, but they had a decent weekend this weekend, but it could have been better, when you look at things. And you see this Cubs team that's absolutely struggling at this point. They got swept out by the Cubs. They got swept out by the Brewers last week. And then, you got the Phillies coming in here who did win 2 out of 3 against the Padres this weekend as well. But those are some very close wins to top it off. And then they got absolutely shellacked yesterday, losing the game 11-1. They got the old vet on the mound, Matt Moore, 5.79 ERA, 9 strikeouts over 12 walks. Then you got Zach Davies, who's 5-5 on the season and has a 4.32 ERA, 55 Ks over 44 walks. And Zach Davies was a part of the actual no-hitter that was done by the whole group of pitchers for the Cubs. So when you look at this situation, when you look at this game, you have yourself 2 teams that are going kind of in the wrong direction right now. But, you expect them to be better as the summer goes along. But they got a lot of work to do to get to the playoffs right now. So when I look at this situation, I think to myself that the Cubs want to bounce back big, and this is a bounce back big type of game. So we're going to see how it goes, see how it shakes out. Cubs, Phillies, Cubs coming in here as a slight dog. Phillies coming in here as not a slight dog, but as a favorite with value. And then you have the Phillies coming in here as the slight dog. You know what I mean? Just a little dog, just a little bark there. So there it is. Phillies at the Cubs. This should be a good one, but I think this is a Cubs redemption game, to be honest with you. And here goes our interleague game for tonight, and I know this catches everybody a little off guard. It's going to be the Reds and the Royals. The Reds coming into this game feeling good about themselves. Just swept the Cubs, something they haven't done since 2019. Yeah, the Kansas City team that kind of was playing patty cake back and forth with Minnesota, but they won 2 out of 3 after losing 8 games in a row. And pretty much, had to put themselves back into the mix of things because it was rough for this team. So pretty much at the end of the day, this one should be a pretty good game. This is going to be a back and forth game, I feel like, as well, too. I think that a lot of us will enjoy what we see here with the Royals and the Red Sox. But I think the Royals get the edge here. They're going to be at home. They're feeling a little bit better after, losing all those games prior. But those were 2 really good teams this time around. They're going against the Reds. So, you shouldn't sit up here and think that the Reds are automatically going to dominate Kansas City because it's Kansas City. They are playing in Kansas City as well, too. So I trust Kansas City a lot in this game against the Reds. So we'll see how it shakes out, see how it goes. And then we end up with the nightcap at the Big A, and we have the Angels and the Red Sox going at it today. And this is what we call a pick'em situation. And so pretty much both sides are getting a lot of action. Both sides are minus 110 as well, too. It's actually moved up now to where Boston's minus 125 and the Angels are a plus 105 doggy. Angels got a good pitcher on the mound with Jose Suarez. Jose Suarez is 1.98 on the ERA. Then you got Martin Perez, a pitcher that's kind of moody, so you don't know what to think of it. So pretty much at the end of the day, we're going to just rock with it the way that it is. And I think that this game actually stays under because the way that the game is shaping up. Because you got 2 pitchers that you really don't know about. But if I was to lean to a winner here, I think the Angels actually wrap this one up tonight because Suarez has been pitching some damn good baseball, and I think that he's going to just continue doing that. So this is more of a scoreboard watching game, but if you are leaning towards a winner, maybe the Angels could be your team today. The Angels had a great weekend against the Orioles as well, too. So that's something that you do have to factor in. And this team isn't dead yet in the AL West either. And Boston is now starting to have a real comfortable lead in the East, and their confidence is picking up by the game. So, a lot of times they come out here to California. They'll have issues with the A's, which they didn't really have last weekend, or they'll have some issues with the Angels, and it always works out like that. So hopefully the Red Sox aren't hanging out at Disneyland too much this week, and they keep their full focus on the Angels. So there it is. That's going to be our nightcap for our MLB games, and we'll have the primetime pick 6 coming up in a moment with Talkin Tickets. But before we get there, we got another commercial to get to. But before we even get there, let's go ahead and talk about Fubo TV. Fubo TV, live TV and sports. You guys can start your free trial today. You guys get 7 days free on me. Just go ahead and press the link in the show description, and you guys will get yourself 7 days free of Fubo TV. You guys go ahead and try it out. You guys have all the sports networks that you need right there on tap, and you guys will be ahead of the game dealing with something like Fubo TV. So you guys check it on out. And with that, we will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing. With daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back with the stretch drive of the show, and we have some pretty good. We got a pretty good group going on today, man. I know this will get Mike excited if he sees this, man. 51-1 on the primetime pick 6 talking tickets today. We're gonna go over here with the Cardinals and the Giants. I feel like that is a strong bet. There is the over with the Giants and the Cardinals today. It should be a good game. It's going to be right there in San Francisco as well, too. So it should be a lot of fun. And I do like the over 7.5 there. So let's see how it shakes out, see how it goes. But I think we should hit that right there. And then we got the Indians plus 1.5 today. I think that they keep this game close, if not win the game. But I'm just going to take the plus 1.5 because I want them to keep the game close, and hopefully they do so. Then we got the Brewers minus 135 in the show off in the showdown in Queens today. Between those two, between them and the Mets, I like them with the minus 135. And then we got the Cubs minus 1.5 as well. So that should be good as well, too. And then we have the Royals minus 125, another home team here. Hopefully they can get this one home for us today in that interleague matchup with the Reds. And then we end the night with the under 10 with the Red Sox and Angels. I'm trusting that the pitchers are going to dominate and the hitters are just going to be, pretty much voluntary with letting them dominate a little bit tonight. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. And there it is, 51-1 on the primetime pick 6. Then we have you guys already know. You guys check out YouWager. You guys go ahead and use the promo code VSXPOP. You guys will get yourself a 50% match deposit. And if you guys go ahead and throw $200 on it, they'll match it with a $100 free play, and your sports betting journey begins. Okay, so with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to the show today, and you guys are the absolute best. I'll be back tomorrow with my main man, the Don of Cape Cod himself, Jeff Dawson, talking some more NFL, talking some NBA finals as well, too, and talking to MLB. So as I always say, if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.